Hello everyone and welcome to another, episode of me adding a bunch of stuff to my shame. Usually I do a lovely overview of all the new Humble Bundle and Amazon games, and I will still be doing it this month. The Amazon games are actually looking pretty good. They're already out if you want to go look at them. But my video won't be out just yet. There's a little bit of time left until I get the Amazon video out, because I like to have them together with the Humble Bundle. It's what I do. It's what I go. However, we have something a little bit special today. Today we have the Jingle Jam 2021. Now, the Jingle Jam, if you've never heard of it before, I'm surprised, to be honest. It's been around on the internet for years now. It's ran by the Yogscast, and essentially, they gather a bunch of their games together. They get a bunch of their friends together and sort of stream for days and try and sell games for charity. It's lovely. They always raise a lot of money. The last couple of years, it's always been on different platforms. Sometimes it's on, I think one year it was on Humble, and they've had it on their own site a couple of times. This time they're doing it on the platform Tiltify. But here's the thing. What is the Jingle Jam? The Jingle Jam is a boatload of games. Like, we're not talking 1, 2, 20. We're talking 55 individual Steam keys that you can claim right now for one low price of £35. That's Great British pounds. So remember to use currency conversion before you do it. I think it worked out to being like 66 Australian dollars. And I was like, wow, that's pretty expensive. However, when I looked for the games in there were like 5 games on my wish list and a bunch of games I've never heard of and a couple of games which, well, you'll see. So today, this video is just going to be me going through a bunch of these games, telling you my first impressions about what I think they're like, whether they're on my mountain, what they mean, etc., etc. And then I'm going to actually have a short bit of data crunching at the end, where I look at the data and see, is the Jingle Jam worth your time? So without further ado, let's get to it. Now, before we start going through the games individually on Steam, as you can see, I've got a lot of Steam tabs open up there. Oh God, so many. Oh yeah, that was required for the so many tabs. Yeah. Anyway, so basically, we're going to go through and look at all these games. Now, first of all, I'm just going to scroll through them and sort of just show you what you get. So, at the moment, there's a lot of games. Now, in the past, the Jingle Jam did run out of keys over time. Now, this is apparently running for 3 days. It does not look like they've ran out of any keys just yet, because there are still the full 55 games. There's a lot of games there. Some of them you might recognize straight away as being good games, like Hyperlight Drifter, Northgard, Surviving Mars, etc. However, some of them might look a little bit different to you. There might be things that you've never heard of before. There's a lovely mix this year of games which I've never heard of, and games which I've already played. In fact, games that have already been on my Mountain of Shame or upcoming on my Mountain of Shame series. So, quite frankly, I saw this and I jumped on it. I think it worked out to being about 33 of the games were new for me, and the rest of them I gave away to friends who had them on their wish list. But, let's have a little look through this list in a little bit more detail. Is this worth your £35? It will depend purely on, what you like and what games you already got, or, maybe you just want to give to charity regardless. Like, I didn't even look at all these games properly before I made the decision to jump into it. I was like, yep, 55 games, even if only half of them are ones I don't own, it's going to be good. It also has things like Displate down here. I didn't actually know which one I wanted to go with down here, because obviously I'm not from the UK, so there's a fair amount of different choices there. Now, apparently in the UK, you can claim this as a tax deduction, which is crazy to me, because in Australia, I can't claim tax deductions that I get a reward for. So I was, fair enough. However, obviously look at your tax rules beforehand, whether you can claim it or not. Sometimes donations that give you stuff do not count as donations, so just don't get caught in tax. Granted, someone isn't probably going to cry that much over £35. Now, there's only a few different charities. The cancer one has already been used up, and from what I can gather, all these companies or these charities have been sponsored for a certain number of keys, and they get money based on how much money we give to them. Now, I wasn't sure exactly who I wanted to fund. I like the sound of the more accessible gaming setups. I like the one for saving the whales and help fighting climate change. I was very close on that one. As you can see, a lot of people went for that one. A lot of people go for mental health. In the end, I decided to just go for the help autistic people live happier and longer lives. Why? Because that's the first time I've seen a charity dedicated towards making people's autistic people's life better, and it felt like, okay, yeah, fair enough. But there's a lot of different options there, and as long as there's still stuff there, it seems like there'll still be keys left. So if you'd like to do it, you just click on the donate button of your chosen charity. It will pop up. Damn it, I'll just blur that out. Point is, you can put your information in there, and you will get a copy of all of these amazing keys. But what do you get? And what's good? What's not? Well, let's go through. First of all, Wildermyth. Now, this game appears to be a story-based party RPG, which is bloody fantastic. It looks like it has a beautiful aesthetic with this sort of like almost like a play sort of setup. I really love what it's got going on here. It's overwhelmingly positive and was only released this year for $40 almost. Like, honestly, for a first game, there's been worse games on the Humble Bundles as the Humble Bundles title game, honestly, recently. So, you know what? Wildermyth looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? So yeah, no, that's a solid start. And it continues on with Project Winter. Now, this is the start of something which is relatively, shall we say, it's a pattern, okay? There's a lot of multiplayer games in this bundle, as I will talk about when we get to the data breakdown. There's a lot of multiplayer games in this. Now, basically, the multiplayer game, this multiplayer game is apparently social deduction. So think like, Among Us or Secret Hitler or, Mafia, etc. I'm assuming it's similar to that. Now, it also says it is a survival multiplayer co-op game, so it might have a little bit more to it. It's got a cash shop, which is interesting. I'm not so happy about that, but it has got a very positive rating, and quite frankly, it looks quite interesting. So, let's continue on our way. We have Barrow Trauma. Now, this one I was a little bit concerned about because it does have a horror element until I realized I already own it, so it's already on my Mountain of Shame, so realistically this makes no difference to me whatsoever. It is overwhelmingly positive. It was released in June of 2019, and honestly, why not? Seems like there's a lot of Deluxe games in this pack, because a few of those other games down there are also games that came out during this Jingle Jam. So, fantastic work by Deluxe. You guys are always good. Next one is Ember. Now, this one, it is a simulation. It has multiplayer, but apparently can be played single player. It appears to be competitive firefighting, which is interesting. It's very positively rated. This one was even on my wish list, so I was quite happy to get that. It looks pretty crazy, and why not? The next one is Unrailed, another co-op game. So another one that involves friends. Now, once again, it does say it has single player, but in general, these sort of games are better in co-op if they say they're in co-op. So, I love trains. Who doesn't love trains? Trains are fantastic. This one appears to be about building a track, working together to build through a procedurally generated pathway, so why not? We've got Northgard. Now, this is the first game that I have specifically played before. Northgard is a city builder, but it is a city builder similar to the old games of Settlers. So, if you like Settlers 2, you might actually like Northgard. Now, it's not exactly the same. Obviously, you can't see the paths and that sort of stuff. But it is a Settlers-style game. So, basically, you build up a small colony of, in this case, Vikings, and build your way outwards by building more buildings and expanding, and eventually you'll meet someone, you might fight them, etc. It's got RTS elements, it's got colony sim management elements, it's got lots of cool stuff to it. So honestly, this is another game which just, in this bundle, is a pretty fantastic deal. Next one is Murder by Numbers, and now this one was a big surprise for me because I have never heard of it before. But as someone who quite likes visual novels, I actually was very happy to see it. Not just that, it has a very unique and colourful art style with an interesting range of cast members. So this game is very positive, was released in 2020 by Mediatonic, and is also included in the Jingle Jam, of course. Now, this one is obviously a game that is near and dear to my heart. I love Surviving Mars to the point where I might end up making a Nest of Love if I ever decide to make another one on it, because I adore this game. So when it first came out, I was like, this is amazing. I really wish it had Terraforming. And then it released a Terraforming DVD, a Terraforming DLC, and I was just stoked. And then I was like, and then they said that was the last DLC, and I was like, ah. Now they've came back from the grave. It's not the same developers, and and as you can see, thereby very negative. It's not perfect, but quite frankly, I'm always happy to see more space. They are still working on fixing it. It's gone from overwhelmingly negative to very negative, so that's getting there. But yeah, you got the rest of the DLC here: the Green Planet, Space Race, etc. They're all fairly good and fairly simple sort of things. The main thing here is the game itself is great, made by the Tropico producers, released in 2018. Very positive reviews. I can suggest getting this game if you don't already have it. It has been given out free a few times, though, so check your Epic account, check your Steam account. There has been a few times that Surviving Mars has been given out for free, so you may already own this game. So think about that before you purchase it, but still, it's still there. Another one, a very positive game, which I have already seen as overwhelmingly positive, close to its release in 2016, is Hyperlight Drifter. This beautiful game is still on my mountain of shame, and I'm hoping to run into it one day. I don't know what sort of game it is. It looks like one of those Moonlighter-style action games with a little bit of RPG elements, a little bit of Zelda-ish fighting to it. It's still maintained its price. It's been on sale a few times, but otherwise, this is a good pickup if you don't already have it. Then we have Just Die Already, which is apparently made by the designers of Goat Simulator. Now, it does say it is it says it's a multiplayer game, but it also says it's open world with single player elements, so it could have elements of that Goat Simulator sort of walk around. I'll look forward to running into it during my Mountain of Shame and seeing what it's like. It feels a little bit less, I don't know, acceptable as Goat Simulator. I had a really fun time with Goat Simulator, though, so I'm willing to give them a chance. Honestly, why not? It's there as well. Now, this one, Heaven's Vault, another one which I recently added to my Mountain of Shame. Heaven's Vault, I do not know what it is. It was on sale quite cheaply a little while ago. Oh, wait, was it Mountain of Shame? Wait, might have even been a Humble Bundle, actually. Point is, it is a adventure game, apparently sci-fi. I've not played it yet. I do not have much to say about it, but it is very positively rated. It was released in 2019. Another new game. This is the thing. A lot of the games in this pack are released in 2019 through to 2021. I'm very impressed. The next game is Golf It. You can tell what this game is about. It's clearly a strong tycoon game where you make pizzas. No, it is a golf game, a multiplayer golf game. It does have single player apparently, but it is a multiplayer game released in 2017. It was on. I already own this one. I gave it to a friend, so I'm looking forward to play some golf with them. Maybe when it comes out my Mountain of Shame, I don't know. It also says it's VR supported, which is quite rare for A, this bundle, and B, for golf games. So, yay. PC Building Simulator, another game I recently obtained this year. However, it's been on my wish list for a very long time. Now, it is apparently an educational game. I don't know how realistic it is. That's why I wanted to buy it, to see if it was a good educational game. A few kids I've talked to have played this and enjoy it. I guess it's a good substitute, but you can't build your own PC. However, just know, PC Building Simulator, very positive. It was very popular when it first came out, so fair enough. Now, Pathway. This one here looks beautiful. It's apparently a turn-based tactics RPG. Released in 2019, it is very positive as well, and god damn it, will you look at that beautiful pixel art. Like, it just looks so nice. Published by Chucklefish, so that's a good sign as well, usually. And well, there was some Trauma there. But anyway, Imperium Galactic Survival, another game which I had on my wish list for a very long time before finally obtaining it. Now, this is a galactic survival game. Now, a lot of these survival games lose their ratings over time, but this one has been out a year and it was in early access before that, and it has maintained a very positive review, which is honestly fantastic. A lot of these sort of survival games, if they fall out of interest, they fall out of interest, so that's there as well. We have Valvaris, which is a very positive action platformer. So once again, shooting game, platformer. Okay, once again, this is really not a type that's been out on the list already. So this is yeah, it looks really cool. Once again, really nice pixel art. Really looks like it could be an interesting game. So yep, fair enough. We have Witch It, another multiplayer game. Apparently hide and seek, so I assume it's similar to Prop Hunt in Counter-Strike. But once again, it's another Deluxe game, so thank you, Deluxe, once again for adding to this particular thing. Next one is Tales of the Neon Sea. This is a game that I backed on Kickstarter. It's been given out for free on Prime. It's been given out in the Humble Bundle. It's been given out all over the place. So chances are you may already have this game, but it is quite fun. I've already played through it. It wasn't a video, but it was quite good. Wasn't able to pass it time because of a glitch. I hear that glitch has been patched, so I might go back. But in general, a cool cyberpunk story, not that long, very positive ratings, are worth it. Released in 2019, so yeah. Ultimate Chicken Horse. Honestly, I thought I already had this game, but turns out no, I did not. It's a multiplayer game that's overwhelmingly positive. It looks like a physics game in the similar vein to the Incredible Machine. So that's a random one there. Now, next one's a little bit confusing because when you get your key, it will say something different, or it seems to say something different. But yeah, Red Orchestra Heroes of Stalingrad. This is one of the oldest games in the bundle, if you don't count the fact one of them's a re-release. Very positive ratings still. It's an FPS. It does have multiplayer. I don't know how active it is. But hey, it is another thing you can do. Okay? Next, we have 20XX, a roguelike action platformer. I love me some roguelike games. So I am very much looking forward to playing this one. It is very positive, by Battery Simple Games, released in 2017. The First Tree. Now, this one I felt kind of bad for when I was doing my data because I'm going for the recent reviews, which say mixed, but it says all reviews are mostly positive. So this game is on the boundary of being considered positive or considered negative. Now, is it worth it? I don't know, but it looks really beautiful. So if you want to go through, have a nice little adventure as a fox, and maybe this is the game for you. And we're not even halfway through the games yet. I'm going as quickly as I can, and we're not even fast way through. Now, this one is also pretty crazy. Scoot Kaboom and the Tomb of Doom. First of all, fantastic name. Just rolls off the tongue. Second of all, released in June 2021. That's this year. And it's not the only one it is. There's a couple of other games, which also 2021. Now, obviously, this is an indie game. It's positive, barely, with only 23 reviews. Any less than that, I think it wouldn't even show up as having reviews. So, yeah, fair enough. Nothing wrong with that one. Look how big the maps are. Urban Trial Tricky Deluxe, a casual sports game. Oh, boy. This is clearly one of those physics biking games, and I hate those by default. I got one in my Mountain of Shame once, and it was so full of my name, and so full of just shit. Like, it just is so hard for no good reason. I gave up on it. I didn't record it. I think it was the first game that I did not record, did not keep the recording going for my Mountain of Shame. Like, most of the time, I might cut it short. I'll still show the game. I'll still talk about it. Sometimes, though, I just can't do it. I throw it off the mountain. I just shove it into nothingness. Hell, I might even show you what games I did not record at some point. But for now, Ultimate Urban Trial Tricky, it's there. It has 4 user reviews, so it's brand new in July as well. I don't know if it's any good, but I'm guessing that if people give this a go, they'll be the ones to find out. And hopefully this, having to be in Jingle Jam, might actually help it gain some traction if it's a good game. Next one, The Void Rains Upon Her Heart. Now, this one seems very odd. Its art style is very strange. However, it's also a roguelike with bullet hell elements, which I love. Also, the art style of that little bit of art of that artwork there is amazing. The only thing I'm worried about is the fact it's still in early access after 2 years, or 3 years actually, but it is very positive, and so that's usually pretty hard to go about. So, yeah, not too bad. Next one is Make Sail, another mixed game, another relatively low-received game, a game which just hasn't been around. So when a game has this few reviews, and it's mixed, I'm always a little bit skeptical about being bad. I just think sometimes games just don't get seen. And so putting it inside a Jingle Jam can actually make a lot of sense. Now, I will eventually play this, I'm guessing, because I have my Mountain of Shame. But not everyone will. So this is another game that, hey, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Maybe the developers abandoned it. I don't know. It's got an early access game here. It's been for 3 years. That I don't know. Yeah, it's just saying toy than a real game, so could have been a great game. Year in early access. That means updates. So I mean no updates in a year and a half prior. Yeah, that's a little bit concerning, but it does look like they've been starting to update again recently. So maybe it'll turn itself around. Let's keep going though. Samurai Gun. This one looks terrible for me. I am not good with platformers at the best of times. It's multiplayer, it's indie, it's action, it's just okay, fair enough. It might be good for some people because it is very positive though. Barony. Now this one seems interesting to me. A roguelike RPG with cooperative play. There's not that many roguelikes that actually have multiplayer, let alone cooperative. Well, actually no, they all would have cooperative, multiplayer in general. It is very positive. However, doesn't seem to have too much in the way of like notoriety. I haven't heard about before. It sort of looks almost like a Minecraft-y sort of level of art style as well. So, I mean, this was another one I was happy to get, even though I've never heard of it before. Shift Happens. First of all, fantastic game. It's got co-op and multiplayer, but it does have single player as well. Platforming game, puzzles, etc., etc. Another Deluxe game, so once again, thank you, Deluxe. Frog Detective. I just played this. The video is not even out yet. I just did the edit. It's upcoming. I'm gonna read through all the voices and oh god, my voice is so sore after doing so. There were so many people to talk to. Oh, it is a red paperclip game. That means you start off with small items and you trade them up into the end goal. It's a cute story. It's very much a kid's story. It's probably would be a good children's bedtime story. So, yeah, that's what I'd say it is. It's a kid's story. Radical Rabbit Stew, another game I've never really heard of before, but it's an adventure, puzzle, pixel game, beautiful art, as usual. Just looks really cool. Gonna put it on my thing. I admit I was a little bit turned off by this art here. It seemed a little bit mobile-y, but honestly, it still looks pretty good. So, yeah. Regions of Ruin. This is a game I did buy just recently myself. It looks cool. Haven't played it. It'll come up on my Mountain of Shame at some point, I am sure. But I love town building. I love this sort of stuff, so I'm probably going to enjoy it. Fling to the Finish. This is another cooperative multiplayer game, still in early access. Very positive rating from this year. Once again, I guess this is their attempt to go viral and be included in the Jingle Jam, which is fair enough. In fact, a lot of games feel like that. Now, look. You probably know just why I love this game. I saw it, I played it, and honestly, I just fell in love with it quite well. I still have to go back and finish the end of it, but here's the thing. I actually remember how I said in the video, I wish this theme song had lyrics, and then later they had a couple of songs which did have lyrics. I went back into YouTube and found out that yes, the main song of the game does have lyrics, and it's just beautiful. So I will be going back and playing Figment some more. I don't know if anyone wants to watch me play more Figment. But yeah, it's really, really nice. So there's that. I can't play the music right now because it seems like Camtasia's not set up correctly, but I must say it's got a beautiful soundtrack. It's a beautiful game. Yes, it's on sale for $2.89, but you might as well get it for free. It's once again very much a kiddie game. It's a very kid-friendly game. It tackles some pretty hard issues like mental health sort of things. It's a little bit sad. It's just good. Okay, like it's just good. And honestly, whether you buy it here or get in the Jingle Jam, it's a fantastic game, from what I can tell. Like, I need to finish it, obviously, but damn, it was good when I played it. Wheels of Aurelia. I remember when this game popped up. It was about the same time, I think. Oh no, it was before that. It was after that, sorry. But I broke up with a girl called Aurelia, and then this game comes out. It's just like, oh. Okay, sure. Thanks, game. That being said, it does look like a game which would be right up my alleyway, whether it caused me crippling loneliness and depression or not. But I am looking forward to playing it when it does come up on my Mountain of Shame. It was on my wish list for a time until I got it for free on, I think it might have been Amazon Prime. I'm happy to have it on Steam instead. It looks like a road trip style game, and there's a few of those games which are really popular nowadays. So it's possible this game was just before its time. It's also possible just no one's played it because there's only 110 reviews. So I'm looking very much forward to traveling around Europe with Aurelia again and seeing if it's any good. So let's keep going. Murderous Pursuit. Now, this one is interesting. It says it's a multiplayer game. It's predominantly a multiplayer game, but it does say a stealth 'em up game for 1 to 8 players. So, not sure how that works if that's the case, but I'm looking forward to finding out. I usually don't play multiplayer games on my mountain, but in general, it looks pretty cool. Victorian era. It is mixed, but once again, due to low number of reviews, I really think that that's a good thing that Humble too, but I think it's a really good thing that Jingle Jam does. It really releases a bunch, shows off a bunch of games that people may not have heard of again. Speaking of, this game, only 67 reviews, very positive. Hellheim Hassle. Honestly, once again, this one, Yogscast supporters bundle. So this one's actually published directly by the Yogscast, which would explain why it's in the bundle. I admit, I never actually, now they're bigger. I love the Spiffing Brit, for example. He's fantastic. But in general, I am a little bit skeptical of Yogscast sometimes from what they started as, but I respect where they've came. And obviously, I love this Jingle Jam. I've been supporting it for the last few years. It's the first time making a video of it, obviously, because I have a thing now. So yeah, I cannot doubt them. There was the Kickstarter campaign that went a little bit off the rails, but apart from that, they're publishing games, they're helping people out, they're helping out charity, so why not? Cow the Kangaroo. Now, this one is technically the oldest game in the bundle. It is apparently from 2003. However, this version was a re-release in 2019. Meaning that I put it down as 2019 because it is a brand new game in comparison. Now, it was overwhelmingly positive, but dropped to very positive. So, not sure why, but, it's fine. It's all fine. Halflands. Now, this one is hidden away like something chronic. But this is the thing about Halflands. It's a city builder. And I love city builders, but not just that. This is another city builder that was on my wish list for a very long time that I never ended up buying. It's an impression style city builder, and I love impression style games to the point where I'm very much looking forward to the new Pharaoh coming out, but that's neither here nor there. So, Halflands, it is basically, these sort of games are, you build up resources, you use those resources to make other resources, you use those resources to give to your people get better housing, which gives you more workers, which gives you more people, which gives you more needs, which makes you expand your city, which gives you more stuff, which makes your population get better. It's basically about creating the perfect city. Now, if you're looking for a similar game to this on my channel, Timberborn is very similar to the impression style games, and I'll probably do Nest of Love on Pharaoh at one point as well, because Pharaoh is truly a defining game for me. I love it, something chronic. So I was incredibly happy to see Halflands show up in the Jingle Jam this year. Now, next game is even more weird than the last one. It is released in March 2021 and has no user reviews. Now, it does have a couple of reviews here, but they're all key activations for people who received it for free, which means they don't count. Which means no one's bought and reviewed this game, which is concerning for a game that's meant to be a multiplayer game. And a new one. So this feels like another chance of people being like trying to release, trying to put it on Jingle Jam to see if they can reach more people and maybe get a more active community. Either way, fair enough. I don't begrudge them, even if it is a weird name. Next one, The World Next Door. This is another visual novel. And quite frankly, I love visual novels, so I'm all over this. A little bit otherworldly, this one. Literally the world next door. But it is very positive, released in 2019 and looks pretty good to me as well. Next one is OCO, which is a game which looks like it's going to be hell for me. However, it does seem to be basing on its rhythm and its music, so I might have a chance of it, just not when I'm recording, which is what's going to happen. So, yay! It was only released in 2021, but has already received a positive review. Very cheap game, but, you know, always a good one when you're trying to fill a bundle. Next one is Annodyne II, which, in what looks like a very, very old game, I mean, hey, it might be. It was released on Steam in 2019. I'm not sure why Annodyne II is the choice, not Annodyne I. It's possible this is the second time they put it. Maybe if I looked at the last Jingle Jam, they might have had it. But I bought the last Jingle Jam, didn't have it. So I don't know. Maybe it ran out. I have no idea. But it looks interesting. And if it's good, I might buy its original one too. So you never know. Maybe that was the point. Next one is Jumpala. Now, this one, another one released in 2020. It is positively reviewed. It looks very simplistic. Sort of reminds me of the old Mario multiplayer. But yeah, fair enough. I don't see anything wrong with this. It's just not really my cup of tea. Next one is Kind Words, Lo-Fi Chill Beats to Write To. Now this one is my jam. This is a beautiful game. Basically, you go on there, you write letters to people. They have their problems. You write to them. You write your own letters out if you need help. It's a beautiful community. Obviously, it goes in waves when there's good or bad people on there. Be interested to see what effect the Jingle Jam has. But in general, Kind Words is a beautiful game. It's lovely to just go back there if you need to talk to someone and you don't want to, and all your friends, if there's no friends online, or you just don't feel like, yeah, it's nice, okay? It's a nice game. It's a beautiful thing. Just chill music and great stuff. Now, Sizeable is a game I haven't played before. I saw it once before and it looked pretty cute. I probably was planning on buying it eventually, but instead I got it for free. It's a hidden object puzzle game, kind of basic, but it's got a whale, so what's wrong with that? Pancaku, a game I've literally never heard of before, an action platformer, looks kind of retro. It says it's based on story, which is rare for a platformer, but yeah, no, it seems pretty good. It's mostly positive, released in 2016, it's a little bit old than some of the other stuff, but why not? Next one is Pictoquest, another RPG puzzling game. Not much to say there, but it's mostly positive, released in 2020, not to see. Boreal Blade, another 2020 game. Very positive currently, however, it is apparently a multiplayer game, and there have been a few people in the boards saying that the game is a little bit dead. So this might be their attempt to revive it. Either way, another multiplayer game. Now, this one is another one which should be familiar to anyone who's actually been staring at my channel. Crown Takers. I had a lovely little talk about this game when I was playing it and how I had never heard of this game. It popped up out of nowhere. It had very few reviews in general, and I was very happy to have found it because of my Mountain of Shame. And now you can get it too as part of this amazing pack, so why not? It was a great game. Four-Sided Fantasy, another puzzle platformer, probably has some story base in it, looks a little bit warped in the head. Another 2016 game, not many reviews, but you know, why not? We've got Disc Room, which honestly reminds me of a game on Neopets where you have to avoid discs, but it seems it's got a little bit more stuff than that. It's probably going to be quite hard, but still. Not that much left now. We have Farm Manager 2018, which honestly, it is mixed, but I mean, it's a farming game. It depends on what sort of game it is. If it's more like a tycoon game, I'd probably be in. If it's closer to a rip-off farm simulator, I would be less excited. Then we have 12 is better than 6, which ironically is actually one of the first games you can claim when you get your email, when you've bought it. However, it looks pretty cool, and it's a little odd that it's been hidden all the way back down here. It has a very positive reviews, released in 2015, so you know that review is generally stable. And it's got a really interesting notebook aesthetic. So, yeah, almost like someone just drew all the levels in a pen paper pad. So, yeah, really cool. And finally, the last game is Cluster Truck, an overwhelmingly positive game. I remember when this game first came out, it was crazy, it was chaotic, it was great. So yeah, that is all of the games currently. I say currently because sometimes they do add and remove games from the Jingle Jam over time. It looks like this time it's a bit more set in stone, but either way, it seems pretty cool. The 42% are this one here. Alright, so basically what I did was I got all of the games onto this list. I put their rating up here. I put their year up here. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that. It worked, but it's just not enough games to really show it off very well. But essentially, I sort of worked out exactly what this sort of bundle was. Now, you'll notice the vast majority of games in this bundle are actually very positive, which is pretty good. In fact, very positive is almost a better sign than overwhelmingly positive, because depending on the number of reviews, you know, it's good. Very positive is good though. It's a hard range to actually reach. So there's only a small portion of mixed and NA games. The NA games are obviously very new, but still, it's a fairly decent thing. Now, as for actual games, which ones are best? Well, if you like multiplayer games, you will love this bundle. There's a lot of multiplayer games. Adventure games also were quite high. You saw a nice spread of other games such as platformers, roguelikes, simulations, and RPGs. Now, I should say here, my data is limited. There are some limitations in my data presentation. For one, I only chose the primary tag which I thought was most relevant to the game based in my opinion. Some of them might double up, and some of them might, like some of the multiplayer games may have single player mods I don't know about. Some of the games which I've put down as being games with games might actually mainly be multiplayer. I don't know. This was just an approximation. But still, if you're looking to buy this pack, it seems pretty good. Most of the games are very positive. Most things are positive or above. If you look at this, and you only count the ones which are positive and above, like, that's most of the games. So that's pretty good, actually. There's not very many mixed, not very many NAs. Even one of the mixes was just down from mostly positive. It's also got a pretty nice spread. Like Cityville is saying like 3. That's not too bad, all things considered. But yeah, no. So if you like what we see here, I'll put a link in Jingle Jam down in the description down below, so you can go check it out yourself. I'll obviously also be putting any new games in my Mountain of Shame, which will of course which will of course pop up on the channel over time. But for now, thank you all for joining me. Oh boy, this has been a 39-minute long video of me just talking about stuff. Whew. Okay. Long video, but still, like I talk a lot, but usually I wait and listen. Still, this is a good cause. It's been out for a couple of days already. It will sell out eventually, so if you want to get it before it does. But for now, it still looks like it's got a few days left. It's still going strong. So thank you for joining me. This has been the Jingle Jam Breakdown. And I'll see you next week for not just more Mountain of Shame videos, but also for our Humble Bundle and Prime Roundup. So that should be good as well. Maybe I'll put put some graphs in there as well for the quantity of good versus bad games in there. Either way, guys, thank you and goodbye.